love Halloween. It's like that one time a year where we actually cultivate fear, right? We systematically, with malice aforethought, scare ourselves to death. It might be a haunted house. It might be a movie. My favorite is that Chucky doll one. Right? Like, is that guy the scariest thing you've ever seen? It scares me half to death, but I watch it every year. Why? Because it's fun. Right? It's fun. But FDR said, the only thing, let me see if I can do this. The only thing we have to feel is fear itself. But what if he was wrong? What if we could turn fear into something that doesn't hold us back, but actually propels us forward? And as somebody who really has held herself back in her life because of fear, I wanted to find out. So I did some research. And I discovered some really cool stuff about fear. I discovered it definitely is my friend. It definitely is an ally. And there's more than one kind. I actually found 3 kinds of fear. Now the first kind of fear, I call it Superman fear. Don't worry, I'm not going to rip my shirt off. It is Halloween, however. But Superman fear has some really distinctive qualities. One, it's automatic. And 2, it's based on reality. It's the kind of fear that lets a mother come, and pick a car up off of her child. It's the kind of fear that literally jumps you out of the way when a bus is coming barreling down the road at you. It's good fear, right? Like, that fear is definitely our friend. As John Arden says in his book, Rewiring Your Brain, it's the autonomic nervous system's way of protecting us without us even having to think about it. It's definitely my friend. The second kind of fear I identified, I call it the big lie. Right? Now, the big lie has a couple really distinctive qualities too. The first quality is it's imaginary and it's not based on reality. And the second quality is it's primarily a byproduct of our inner dialogue. Sometimes commonly referred to as the inner critic. Anybody got that voice? Or the inner protector. Or the inner judge. And it sounds sort of like this. Lisa, don't do that speech, it's gonna suck. Or for you visitors. I can't join Toastmasters. Public speaking scares me to death. Or, you can't go outside looking like that, you look ridiculous. Yeah, right. What do you mean? So how can big lie fear actually be our friend? Byron Katie says in her book, Loving What Is, she has a process called the work, and it's a method of identifying stressful thoughts that precede fear and questioning them. And she uses a multitude of questions, and one of them is, my favorite of all, is that true? It's a very powerful question. So when I find myself backed up to fear, I take a look at what were the thoughts that I was thinking before I felt the big lie fear. And I ask myself, is it true? Can I absolutely know that that thought is true? And this looks something like this. Lisa, don't do that speech, it's gonna suck. Is that true? Can I really know that that's true? Gary's going, yeah, it sucked. I'm kidding. But no, I can't know that's true. Or if you hear the voice that says, I can't join Toastmasters, public speaking scares me to death. Really? Has anybody died here before? Yet? We're still waiting, but nobody's died from it. Or it says, you can't go out looking like that, you look ridiculous. Now that one's true. But how can big lie fear be our friend? Big lie fear is like a little temple bell that lets us know that we're believing a limiting belief that stops us from living a wholehearted life. It's the little reminder that we may be in a story that we can question and set ourselves free from the tyranny of limiting beliefs. It's not a small thing. And the third kind of fear I found is expansive fear. And it has its own qualities too. And I need my glasses for this one. In her book, Tara Moore, her book, Playing Big, I don't know if any of you read it. If you haven't, I really recommend it, especially for the women. She calls it Yira fear, which is a Hebrew word, and she describes it like this. It's the fear that overcomes us when we suddenly find ourselves in possession of considerably more energy than we're used to, inhabiting a larger space than we're used to inhabiting. And it's also the feeling we feel, I love this, when we are on sacred ground, on the edge of a calling, or a passion, or destiny. It's how I felt when the idea came to me to come to Toastmasters. But the feelings, the sensations in my body are so similar to real fear that I confused it with fear. It was really excitement. Expansive fear isn't fear at all in my book. It's excitement that's misdiagnosed as fear, so we avoid it, and we might even miss one of our callings. So how is it our friend? Expansive fear is like a dinner bell that calls us to a feast of possibilities that we don't want to miss. It calls us to actually lean in to that fear and grab hold of it and pursue it and cultivate it. It really is our friend. So this Halloween, when you're watching your movies or you're eating your candy corn, which is really pretty scary, that stuff is really scary and addictive, know this, that whatever kind of fear you feel in your life, whether it's big lie fear, or Superman fear, or expansive fear, that when we are aware of it and awake to it, it serves us. It's our friend. Happy Halloween. No,